Hey class, Professor Kev here. This week we talked about misunderstanding messages. I had a student speak about one of his coworkers sitting with their arms folded during a meeting and how they misinterpreted that to mean they weren't interested, they were bored. This one made me smile because I feel the same way. When I teach in person, I typically teach freshman students at UMass, all 18, 19, and I teach high school students as part of dual enrollment. So when students sit with their arms folded, to me, it makes me think that they're not interested, that I'm boring them. Why? Why does that bother you? I had a boss in the past that when I spoke to him, I'm like, hey, can I talk to you about something? Yeah, what do you want? Right into the protective mode. So it makes me think of that. Now, he wasn't open to what I had to say. He didn't want to hear, my suggestions. So when I see people go into this pose, to me, it's defensive, means I'm not opening to whatever you have to say. Again, we talked about this. Our past impacts us in how we interpret things. Because I've had that negative experience with a boss that wasn't open to my ideas, when I see people in that pose, it means that they're not open to what I'm saying. So as I mentioned, I teach freshmen. I had two seniors in my class. And because they're seniors, I'm like, all right, they don't think my stories are funny or whatever. They would sit with their arms folded. So one day I told that story. I'm like, this is why when you sit with your arms folded, I interpret it negatively. And they were like, so the next class, just to mess with me, and that's why I like these two guys. You know what they did? They sat like this. Like the extra point's good. I'm like, so I let it go for like 5 minutes. I want to see how long they keep their arms up. If I'm like, all right, guys, what are you doing? Kev, we just wanted to let you know we're open to it, bro. I'm like, and they looked at him like, guys, that's legitimately funny. Everyone in the class was laughing. And after class, they're like, Kev, we only did that with you because we knew you would laugh. You wouldn't be mad at us. But see how we interpret that. And I tell this story every semester. And then a student will be sitting with their arms folded, and I'll look at them like, I'm just messing with you. Because I had a student go, Kev, that's just how I sit, bro. This is my thinking mode, when I have my arms crossed. That means I'm open. I'm thinking about what you're saying. But again, our past impacts how we interpret things today. Because I had that negative experience, I go right to negative. So it just, like I said, I wanted to share that because body language is powerful. We all interpret things differently. When I'm facing you, when I'm talking to you, it means I'm open to talking to you. And how, I turn away, like, they're not open to it. Everything gets interpreted based on our past. That's kind of the takeaway from this. But your story made me laugh because, again, every time I see it, I'm like, oh God, I'm boring the student because I am a storyteller. If we're talking about something like ethics, all right, this is what you need to know about ethics. Let me tell you a few things I've seen in my career that may have been a little ethically challenged, and then I'll ask you for your opinion. Some students love playing that game. Other students like, can you just do the slides, man? Stick to the slides. They don't really like the stories and how I'm trying to fill in the time so that we can focus on teaching you things that I've seen rather than just material from the book. Because sometimes I think real world experience is a little more powerful than just learning a definition. And most of my students agree with that. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a truly dazzling day.